Hi! We're back, everyone.
Welcome to our newest programming block named Stars Review.
Yeah, this new series will be looking at live-action movies based on anime.
Yeah, so we're going to be covering a range of materials. Michael Bay, don't worry, we'll be coming for you soon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all that Transformer movies need their justice.
Mm-hmm. And the reason why is because, well, most anime live-action movies don't have a really great track record. Even in their own home country. There are critics.
Yeah, and let's be honest, like, most times when most fans hear of a live action, they dread.
Mm-hmm.
We dread, like, oh god, what are they going to do wrong?
Much like a video game movie.
Yes, in fact, like, if you ever went to Avatar, The Last Airbender by M. Night Shyamalan, you will know the pain.
Mm-hmm.
You will know the pain that when you walk in that movie theater and you come out with this heart just ripped out of your chest.
I got no pulse.
Yeah.
I'm dead. This movie killed me.
Yes. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie that we're going to talk about is just a step in the right direction. It is going through the door that is going to lead for other greats, we hope.
Yes, and I think the reason why is because it was actually in the hands of someone who is, well, a
master director.
Not only a master director, but is an open fan of anime.
Oh yeah,
written and produced by James Cameron,
the same guy who brought you the Terminator, Aliens, True Lies, The Abyss, and Titanic.
Mm-hmm. And also directed by Robert Rodriguez of Spy Kids and Sin City. So definitely someone with a keen eye for visuals.
Yes. Though, it's kind of funny, like, not even funny, the fact that this movie has been in production for 20 years.
In so many drafts.
So many drafts, so many rewrites, it got canned, it got put back on the shelf, got put off the shelf.
But I think that wait was worth it. This was really great.
Oh yeah,
it was really great, and I think we have to really attribute that to just the amazing patience that Cameron has.
The man might be an overlord on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
But
God, But he definitely knows. He definitely knows when the time is right. He thinks it's like he views technology like wine. It only just gets better with age.
Yes. Though, of course.
The movie is based on the manga series Battle Angel Alita. However, the title of the movie is Alita Battle Angel.
Because this little funny tidbit of information says, with John Lando commenting, I'm telling people that we have to call it Alita Battle Angel because Jim only does TNA movies. And as I just mentioned, most movies only start with T or A.
Avatar, The Abyss, The Terminator, Titanic, True Lies. Not all of them, a lot of them. It's mind-blowing.
He loves the two letter A's and T, I guess.
No comment.
No comment.
Okay.
But, okay. So, obviously, to judge an anime, a live-action movie, you need an anime critic who knows the source, knows the material, knows everything about the anime, and you need a movie critic.
We'll let you know when we find them, but as of right now,
we're the best you got.
Yes.
And so, without further ado,
so what is the whole story?
Well, let's be clear on this. The whole story. We got this utopian city in the sky, and you have this dystopian city underneath it where it just dumps its trash.
Honestly, the utopian city is kind of just more. It is kind of almost is just exactly that. It's just mentioned a whole lot. It's sort of like the It's sort of like the Ark of the Covenant in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Everyone just just says something about it, of how amazing it is, and you don't really see it.
But I think that's the best part, the mystery. Because maybe...
Exactly, yes.
The mystery is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because, let's be honest, with all the stuff that is expositioned throughout the movie, that once you're exiled from this place, you can never go back. And the fact that they dump trash on top of a city...
Yep.
To which our story starts with a doctor discovering this cyborg girl who is still alive after being inactive for
300 years.
300 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so, wanting to do something, this doctor has a heart of gold. Good God, he repairs patients' limbs for free.
Mm-hmm. Or even just a bag of oranges.
Or for a bag of oranges.
Mm-hmm.
And he repairs her, and I'm not going to lie, the CGI, everyone. It's the CGI. It's just...
Is it is it amazing? Is it cheap? Is it scary?
It's beautiful.
Okay, yeah. I gotta say, yeah. The design of Alita, who that's the name that Ito gives her, is at first off-putting.
It is.
Big old eyes.
When I first saw the trailer, I was not livid, peeved.
Okay,
I was peeved. This is because this is coming off the heels of Ghost in the Shell, which is not a bad movie. Just needed a little bit more touch.
I guess we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. But this is where I want live action movies. And to see the fact that they're giving this girl a fish eye lenses.
But
it grows on you. Actually,
it does grow on you. It actually makes her the most unique character, and kind of therefore everything that she does is kind of unique, not and out of the ordinary. Actually, extraordinary.
Extraordinary, yeah.
Yeah.
And what makes it better is actually the emotions that punches through. It punches through to you.
The motion capture is just outstanding. Not a single pixel out of place.
So when you see her sad, it's not someone trying to be forcibly be sad. You can generally tell that it is literally the sadness of the soul kind of thing. That when you see this doctor wiping away a tear off her cheek, you feel like that is actually there. Mm-hmm. And the joy when she's eating a bar of chocolate for the first time.
I know the technology was actually able to capture such a range of emotions, from joy to sadness, anger to curiosity, everything.
Anger was scary.
Oh yeah, from everything, even that restrained fury.
Yes, restrained fury. To which, no, thank you. You're scarier than Astrid. But yes,
I mean,
that's it. Now, there are a lot of actors who are A-listers here.
Oh yeah. So we have Christoph Waltz, who plays the good Dr. Ito, who I think I can't see anyone else playing this guy.
I can't. It just fits him.
And of course, this is now, even though James Cameron is involved, he's actually the writer and producer of this. The director is actually Robert Rodriguez, who is actually good friends with
Quentin Tarantino.
Which I think that's how Christoph Waltz was actually able to land the role.
Good recommendation.
Yeah, Tarantino recommended him. Yeah.
And then you got Jennifer Connelly,
who returns after I don't know how long of an absence.
What was her? I don't even remember what her last movie was.
I don't know either. But yeah, one of the hotties from the 90s and the 80s, she's back.
Yep, she's back.
Although, wasn't she in Hulk, the Ang Lee one?
I think so.
Hulk!
Oh my god.
But
you got Jennifer Connelly, you have
You have
Edward Norton as a cameo.
As a cameo at the very end of the movie, playing the enigmatic Nova.
Yes, the evil baddie.
Mm-hmm. The biggest bad of them all.
But he's actually the greater bad, but he's not the main antagonist.
Okay, at least of this story. You have Francis.
Francis, you're bad.
Ed Skrein plays Zapan, who's only around for like 10 minutes. He's supposed to be like he's the best bounty hunter.
The best bounty hunter with my butter knife.
And let's see. I don't know who the kid playing Hugo is. Who playing Hugo is?
I do not know, but
I think he was a pretty good actor. He was pretty good.
He's a good actor, but I don't think he was the right one for the role.
Okay,
that's just my personal opinion.
All right. You have Academy Award-winning actor Mahershala Ali,
who had to do double duty acting. Honestly, he had to play his Vector, and he had to act like Nova.
He had to act like
he was possessed by Nova.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of double duty acting, and that's very impressive.
I know, yeah. And so, yeah, there's a diverse cast of characters and actors. Oh, and we also forgot the leading lady herself.
Yes, Rosa Salazar,
who plays Alita,
and by God, she nailed it.
Oh yeah,
she completely nailed it.
Okay, I honestly think that she definitely does deserve the Oscar to be nominated for Best Leading Actress in the Oscars. Which, when you think about it, she's doing a better motion capture acting job than Andy Serkis, and that's his bread and butter.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
And sad a little bit.
But now there are some lines I will admit are stiff, but that could be contributed to the fact that she's been inactive all the time. So that could be it, or
I guess the best way that you can describe this story, at least and place a category in it, is that it is a coming of age story.
It is a coming of age story. It's a mashup of the coming of age with a kind of like a Pinocchio feel in it.
And Pinocchio is kind of like in the same vein, really.
Yes.
It is a coming of age story set against like a post-apocalyptic setting.
Now, the funny part is when you look at Rotten Tomatoes, the critics, they criticize this. Like, it's got 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. Not bad, but compared to 90% or is it 80, whatever, for the crowds, the critics are criticizing for the fact that now here this work is funny. The tropes that he's seen used over and over, not knowing that Alita created most of these tropes. So it's an example of the trope Seinfeld is unfunny.
Oh, so they were the original inceptions of the
yes,
they were the inceptions of the trope.
Inceptions of the tropes,
mm-hmm.
And now it's now coming to live action after the tropes being done to death by other movies, shows, and they're like, oh, we've seen this already.
And yeah, I'll admit there were some things that I saw coming a mile away. Like I could instantly tell by the purple lighting that this was the romance scene. This was the one where they were gonna kiss. Yeah. I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind it. Though I couldn't help but make a joke when Alita, at one point, who's so devoted to her love, not spoilers alert, not much minor, out of context, is not going to do anything. She offers Hugo her heart.
That's what I think is pretty much awesome.
That is awesome. It's the most iconic thing in the not even anime, manga.
It's actually taking a metaphor and turning it into a literal interpretation.
Yes. Though I couldn't help but snicker. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. The very next day, you gave it away.
Well, I'll actually give my interpretation of that scene and pretty much a number of others later on. But
to be fair, like if we were gonna this movie, the actors did beautifully.
Oh yeah,
the actors did great.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you were to judge it by story beats, which is what most live-action anime movies struggle to death with, following story beats, following like Either do we follow this plot for plot, or do we just recreate the spirit? And they opted to do two. They opted to recapture the spirit. What made Alita Alita? But we cannot leave out certain moments that are iconic.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'm pretty sure, I guess the iconic, putting the blood war paint under her eyes.
Yes.
Which, when I saw the OVA after watching the movie, and it's pretty good. I mean, it makes me feel nostalgic for the old animation.
Yeah, 90s.
Yeah. The thing is that it's a condensed version
of the first 3 volumes.
Yeah, it's kind of
rushing.
It's sort of like The Last Airbender, the live action, but not as horrible. I want to make that perfectly clear.
Okay, that's good. But
and also, it's the 90s. It has the awkward dubbing.
Awkward dubbing. Oh, that was not like. If you go back to the 90s, that was the thing that happened in the 90s. Dubbing. Mm-hmm. Awkwardness.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just listen to Yu Yu Hakusho. Listen to Kuwabara. You're meshy!
90s.
How we miss thee.
Yes.
I wish it didn't come back like this.
Yes, but, now, the weird thing is they take a lot of events and kind of mishmash it.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a bad way.
Or you mean like rearrange it?
They rearrange it. Like in the original manga, the motorball sequence wasn't until after she had, well, I'm not going to say anything else, after the events that happened.
Well, if they're watching us talk about it, then they probably have already seen the movie.
Yes.
Unless you haven't,
in which case, go watch it.
Go watch it. Yes,
Stop here.
It's worth it.
Yeah. It's worth it. It's worth seeing more than Captain Marvel.
Oh, you had to go down that route. Well, bye everyone. Don't be surprised if you suddenly can't find us.
Yes. Though, to be fair, there's actually a weird rivalry between the two.
No, but we'll get to that later. So anyway, the events that he was talking about was that Hugo dies.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And kind of tragically too. He's a tragic character.
He is a very tragic character,
Although I will say this, his character, I actually feel a little bit more for him in this one than in the OVA.
The OVA, he was more of a slime ball.
Mm-hmm. Even if he was voiced by Spike Spencer.
Yes, who's an awesome actor, by the way.
Oh yeah, and also very energetic. If you ever get a chance to meet him, just
go and say hi to him.
Go and say hi to him.
What is he up to?
He's up to your best.
What?
And
here's our guest star for today.
One of my boys. Say hi, Hiccup.
Oh.
Which I guess we can all, since that's as best of a segue as we're gonna get. The name Alita. Where does it come from?
In the manga, it came from Dr. Ito's male cat.
Which, when you kind of think about it, is
sad.
Very sad. Such a pity. However, in the movie, her name comes from Ito's daughter. Who died before the events of the movie from an ex-motorball junkie.
Yes. So,
actually, someone who he actually helped maintain.
Yeah.
He would
and thus why he doesn't like motorball as a sport in this movie.
And also why he's so overprotective of Alita, because he kind of sees it as like a second chance to be a father.
Yes.
Sort of like in Season 2 of Stranger Things with Hopper and Eleven.
Now, other events that...
He likes your vest, dude.
You want me to bring my vest over?
Yes. He likes your vest because it makes a noise.
My God. Our star of the day, the Hiccup, the cat.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, what were we talking about?
Okay, the difference between the manga, anime, and the live action. Now, Shirin
is actually has a lot more depth to her character than in the OVA, who is really just
a one note.
She's a two-dimensional villain. She just wants to destroy Alita to break Ito's heart. which I kind of find funny. The OVA kind of seems to focus more on Ito.
Yeah. Well, funny thing enough, in the OVA, in the OVA manga, it's not implied they actually got married. They were romantically involved. That was it. That was the extent of their involvement. In this live-action movie, they were married, had a kid, and they were kicked out of the zone because their kid was, unfortunately, not perfect.
That old thing. And then this is kind of what causes them to drift apart. The death of the daughter didn't help, and that was awesome. That's better writing.
That is better writing. And not to mention, she redeems herself.
Yes.
She redeems herself once Hugo is dead.
Is dead. Actually helps Alita
try to save his life.
And even comes to see Alita as her daughter.
Yes. And
This is so amazing. I love this movie.
This movie makes me want. I look up to her.
Yes, yes. This is the kind of a strong female character, a strong character, any kind, any gender, that is fully fleshed out, has flaws, someone that you can look up to, someone that inspires you to just be a better person.
Yes, a character worth looking up to is someone who stumbles. Someone who stumbles but keeps getting back up, to push forward, to go for their beliefs.
And not only that, but also someone that just makes you want to go, I'd follow you into battle any day.
Exactly. And okay, now, what did you think of, there are some fans who were kind of about the name change for Dr. Daisuke Ito versus Dr. Dyson Ito.
Honestly, I'm glad his name is Dyson because I just can't. I'm sorry, I can't see a white guy, especially a German guy with a Japanese name.
Yeah, but hey, he's named after a vacuum cleaner.
Well, what about? Can't you say the same thing for the guy in Terminator 2?
Touche.
Yes, Miles Dyson. Let's see, a black man that also had a redemption arc. Seriously, Cameron doesn't just make good female characters. He makes strong human characters.
That's the key.
Yeah, even the ones that aren't human.
And honestly, that's his strength. He makes characters relatable, and it makes you want to follow him into the pits of hell.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, we will follow you to the ends of the earth if we must.
Now, does that mean that Avatar probably has a good their lead? That lead is actually a strong character.
Sam Worthington? Zoe Saldana?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't care if she's of Neytiri or Gamora. I would follow her into battle.
Yes.
I would trust her to keep something safe.
Yes. Funny enough, Sigourney Weaver's in that one too.
Yes, she is.
So, Ellen Ripley, along with a badass scientist who can kick ass and take names.
Mm-hmm. But, okay, now back on track. I think this is actually... I remember seeing somewhere on the internet of how sometimes the best way to tell a human story is that when you have protagonists that are non-human. And
that's actually a good, fair point, because the best Terminator movie, T2, we see John Connor being attached to this T-800, who's pretty much the only father figure he had in his life.
And heck, Sarah Connor is the one who's also narrating, so we're actually seeing this from her point of view, and she's the one who has post-traumatic stress disorder from the events of the first movie.
And then when you see the T-800 going down in the molten with the sun up, it makes you feel bad. And I will agree that humanizing...
I cried when I saw that scene.
Humanizing non-organic creatures, or what was it you said? Non-humans is actually the best way to put across what is to be a human. What is humanity? Because if you're trying out with a human character, you're expected to think they already have some sort of it.
I know, and it's not to say that that's the only way you can tell a humane story. It's just that it kind of helps get the point across much easier.
It does.
But with a human protagonist, it's a little more trickier.
It's a little more of a tightrope.
It's kind of like the same way of how do you tell a horror story without a monster? How do you make the horror more like the evil within rather than the evil out there in the
physical,
darkness?
the
Yes.
physical. But
actually here, I think in Alita there are not only was Alita a good character to actually show us of how to be human, but also of how her interactions with everyone else show them how they can be better humans.
Yeah, like one example, she asked her father figure and she called him Dad, and it was just like, yes. She called him Dad, like, can a cyborg love a human? I'm like, of course!
I mean, technically, yes. If we want to go scientifically, she does have an organic human brain.
Yeah, she's not a robot. She's just a cyborg.
So love, while not only just an abstract concept, is really just more of a release of chemicals,
yes.
of pleasure chemicals. So yeah,
and well, that's not to mention the fact that. Okay, what is your favorite part of the movie?
I pretty much like any. Well, I guess I like the second battle with that. Grishka. That's the Grishka, but mostly because that's when it finally hit me that a lot of the cinematography, a lot of the angles, definitely seems to emulate manga and anime. If you listen to our Dragon reviews, if you listen to our podcast, you definitely know that I love cinematography.
Yes.
And there were times when I was watching the movie that I was actually looking around, going like, "That's where the speech bubble would be. That's where a thought bubble would be. There."
And I didn't notice it because I was just that engaged in the movie. That's good. That's good work. When my focus is like, I have ADHD, people.
So who doesn't nowadays?
Yes, but to keep my attention like this.
But and also it wasn't like that all the time. There were a few points in there, but I was still immersed in the story and also in the angles. Like what I like the climax of when Hugo is climbing the metal tubes to get to Zalem.
Yes.
And Alita is, trying to reason with him to kind of to come back. He has his back towards Zalem, but you can kind of still see it like far off there in the distance. He sees his goal is like right there, almost within reach. And then there's Alita that he turns to that's also like reaching out for him. And that's a very powerful imagery. It's almost like
take my hand.
It's the whole internal battle of where I want to go versus what I need.
But you know how that song and dance goes, unfortunately.
Yes, like we mentioned earlier, Hugo dies at the end. He is
dismembered
by a defense ring, and
falls to his death.
He falls to his death while with Alita, trying to grasp at him, hanging on to him for dear life.
Now that does make me wonder, couldn't they pick him up? Kind of like what happened to her in the beginning of the movie?
Because he fell from a height, and his head is still organic.
Touché.
It doesn't take long to reach terminal velocity.
That is true.
And they were high up. He fell through clouds.
He fell through clouds, yeah. Now, that said, what is your thoughts on the motorball sequence.
The motorball sequence was awesome, and also a well-deserved badass, not moment, entire scene for Alita.
Yes.
I mean, because when you think about it, we know that she was made for combat. She's a combat cyborg.
She's a berserker.
Oh no. Does that mean she's gonna go like Dagger?
No, not that kind of berserker.
Oh, thank God.
She's more like a Heather.
So like that?
No.
Okay, so she's not a berserker. Okay, she's a combat cyborg, and let's see, her original body, which was actually supposed to be the real Alita's prosthetics, so that she could walk
and kick ass and take names.
I don't know about just kick ass. I mean, did you see that the entire arms were actually designed with roses on it?
Oh no, I thought you meant the berserker body.
No, I meant the original.
Oh,
one.
the original. Yeah, the original was more like. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Dyson Ito designed that for his daughter, and it really shows when Eileen's wearing it. She looks more like a little girl.
Mm-hmm. But we're still on the motorball sequence.
Yes.
The whole sequence was like an earned badass scene for her. Her body gets destroyed by what's his name? The hard to pronounce name.
Garushika.
Yeah, Garushka. Garignac.
Mr. Biggins.
Yeah.
We'll just stick with that.
Okay, Mr. Biggins, and then gets after and is suddenly given the new body, which she found on a little hiking exposition, and now she gets the body of her people, which is meant for combat.
Yeah,
and then. Now, what else is deserved about this scene for her is that Vector has pretty much paid every hunter warrior and armed them literally to the teeth to kill her.
Yeah, and then now motorball is not okay. Motorball is a sport where damage and death is not uncommon.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like roller derby mixed with that sport that you saw from Road to El Dorado.
It's like Death Race.
Mixed with Death Race, yes. And she not only plays the game, but
she owns it.
She owns it. She beats everyone. She doesn't get scratched. She stumbles a little bit, but she recovers again.
Okay, the fact that she uses the ball
as a weapon. And it's creative.
The creative choreography is just.
This was an earned badass scene.
Yes,
and I guess that's the other thing is that everything feels like she's earned this.
She earned it. She has clawed her way to get to this point. Her first. Let's backtrack a bit. To get to this point, she had to fight Grushika in a prosthetic body that, while awesome...
While awesome was not meant for that.
Yeah. And now that's not to mention, what's the brilliant part about that scene is the fact that it ultimately what puts Dr. Ito's overprotectiveness to rest, because that's the last remain of his daughter's body.
Mm-hmm.
So that is destroyed. Though Alita's far from helpless. She punched a cyborg in the freaking eye.
Hell, she only had one arm left, and she was still fighting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that fighting spirit. I love characters with a fighting spirit like that.
Yes.
That's why I still liked. Where is she?
Ochako.
Where is she? Here she is.
Ochako.
Uraraka in the sports festival arc.
Oh yeah.
The moment I saw that face, I was like, I'm in love. Sadly, reality comes crashing down.
Yes, but it's that scene that it really shows that I can't stop her.
Yeah. Oh, not only that, with that one arm, she actually uses it to punch Garignac's
Breaknecks?
I said that was on purpose. Anyway, Mr. Biggins right in the eye and then breaks the arm off in his eye.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
And then, just now, Daisuke Ito's by no means a weak man.
No.
Or Dyson Ito, not Daisuke. He has an awesome hammer.
Mm-hmm. Not the hammer of Thor.
And
it's got a rocket launcher on the back to actually maximize swing.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
But I think seeing this, her himself realized that she's a big girl.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just protect her.
You can't. I know, and again, that kind of what's, resolves his whole second chance at being a father arc. And I think that's also, this is what leads Alita to actually calling him father.
Yes. And,
which again,
everything's earned.
Everything is earned here, yes.
And now,
which when you think about it, the whole point of Iron City is to lie, cheat, and steal in order to go up.
Yes. Now, let me tell you this is what I have a problem with the movie. What is not earned is the love between Hugo and Alita. I think that romance is a bit weak. It's not there because they're focusing on so much. That's the problem. They're focusing on what is Iron City, what is Alita, what is Daisuke Ito. They have a lot on their plate.
Mm-hmm.
They have to get across. And while the pacing of the movie is not bad,
I know
it's just there was not enough devoted to developing the chemistry between Hugo and Alita.
Although since this is a coming of age story, you can kind of see this as more like the first love. Love is blind, and that kind of whole thing. I think maybe to her, Alita probably thought Hugo might have been the one.
Yeah, probably, but even then, those have more scenes to develop the context, and I don't think there was enough for that. But that's just my opinion.
Okay. Let's see. What else? Let's see. What else is there? Jeez.
Well, we had interesting villains like Vector.
Mahershala Ali, who I first saw in Luke Cage on the Netflix series, Cottonmouth, which I believe, man, I kind of wish that he got more screen time, or at least was not killed off halfway in between, because he had so much depth to him.
Yeah,
but this one, okay, but Ali. He has range. He has range as an actor.
Yes, he does.
Mm-hmm. He's suave. He's charming. He has charisma.
Yeah.
And then until his consciousness is overtaken by Nova.
Yeah.
Then it's just weird and off-putting.
Yeah. Especially with how he dies, being possessed.
Oh my god! Yeah.
And that's a horrible way to go. Imagine you don't know what's happening. Your body's been possessed. All of a sudden you wake up and you find a blade sticking through your chest.
Well, at least Nova had some kind of mercy by only leaving his body after he was dead. I mean, can you just imagine the amount of pain he would have been if he had left halfway through?
Yeah. So gotta go.
That. Ugh. It's so sad.
But that's the life of Iron City.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Apparently there's a rivalry between Alita and Captain Marvel?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
Alright, do we have to talk about this?
Not really, but might as well get some insight.
Alright. Yeah, apparently there's a group of people on the internet, not the ones that you'd actually are expecting.
To criticize this movie.
Yeah. But from the internet, that nowadays, okay, everything has to be politicized.
There has to be an agenda.
Uh-huh. And that includes even our gender, which I find is just a little unnecessary because it just doesn't. Because then it just takes the entertainment out of everything.
Yeah.
And apparently, this group has concerns. I get is a polite term that I'm using.
Yes.
That Alita is not a strong female character. Why? I think she is.
Oh, one said because she was dependent on the man to rescue her in the first place.
She rescued. Well, are you talking about how she? Oh yeah, I could believe that someone who's been inactive for 300 years with no arms and no legs could actually get themselves out of the trash heap.
I know. But that was one of the things that was mentioned. The second thing was the battle with Grushika, which she was helpless again.
Her body was not designed for combat, and also with one arm she still blinded the guy.
Yeah.
And look back 5 minutes ago, she pretty much punched the guy right in the eye, broke the arm, and the arm was stuck in his eye.
But
that's awesome.
But they're not concerned about what the movie is. What they're more concerned about is the agenda. That telling, not showing. She has to be worshipped. Apparently,
I'm kind of also wondering if maybe the reason why they don't like Alita is because she's not part of the Marvel character. She's not part of the mainstream. Unlike, say, take the road less traveled, people.
Yeah. Seriously, mainstream is awesome, but lesser known stuff is better.
I mean, technically, when you think about it, the Marvel, especially the heroes that make up the MCU, weren't part of the mainstream.
I mean, did anyone know Guardians of the Galaxy?
No, and that had an awesome female character.
Exactly.
So this is my interpretation of the movie as a whole. That this group of people just wants to talk about. Is that this is a movie that definitely showcases the positive and negative aspects of both masculinity and femininity.
Yes.
Okay. And for masculinity, you have 3 examples. You have Ito, Hugo, and Zapan. All right. You have Ito, who is an overprotective father. He came across Alita, gave her
life,
gave her the name of his daughter that he still mourns for.
Yes,
and tries to keep
her out of danger.
Keep her out of danger because he doesn't want to lose another daughter. And yet, after the events, he
moves on.
He moves on. He
supports her.
He supports her. He's willing to let her grow up. And in a sense, she already was grown up.
Yeah.
Which also, that's another choice that I'm actually glad about.
Yes. The fact that if you were to compare to the body he gave her originally, it made her look more like a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
And when she got the new body, it morphed into what her subconscious image, which is more of an adult feature.
Mm-hmm. All right. You have Hugo, who's kind of in the middle. Yes, there's some negative aspects. He's willing to steal and cheat because all he wants is he wants to have a better life.
Which does make him relatable.
It does make him. Hell, he's us.
He is us.
He's the middle class. The ones that we're still trying to pay off our student loans. Who can't find a place to live in because the housing market is shit.
Yes.
But when Alita is actually willing to give her soul, literally give her heart to him, he flat out refuses.
Yeah.
And he's also willing to just not do this anymore. He wants out of the out of the business. He's willing to change if it means being with Alita.
Yeah.
And then you have Zapan.
Francis.
Yeah,
Francis. I'm not letting that go.
No, none of us are. Who is toxic masculinity incarnate? Not on Gaston levels. Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, buddy?
But he's the best bounty hunter. He has an ego. He has a badass sword.
You mean a butter knife?
I think is that what Alita called it?
Yes.
Yeah, but I think that was because he was not really a worthy person. He wasn't a worthy soul to wield such a blade.
Yes, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's a narcissist. Like when he gets his face cut off.
Mm-hmm. Which I gotta, and I do have to say, it is kind of gruesome to see that.
It's gruesome, but befitting.
Yes. And so, yeah, he gets his comeuppance, like what most bullies do in real life.
But it really treads that line in such a way it doesn't feel like it's forced down on you. It just kind of lets it be.
And going back to how this movie seems to have the theme of how things are earned.
Yes.
Everything is earned in a world where you have to lie, cheat, and steal in order to get ahead.
Yes. Now, as for what they are, back to the rivalry thing.
Wait, what about femininity, though?
Oh, femininity.
Yes.
Yes.
Now you have Alita, who represents both of what this group wants women to be. They want to be strong. They want to be independent. They want to be fighters, and she is a fighter. And she
also loves puppies.
She loves puppies. Then there's also that caring part. Yeah, is that yes, men and women can be nurturers. We've seen Ito has shown that he's a doctor. He's a doctor. He can be nurturing as well. Alita, like I said earlier, is actually who not only loves life and is actually willing to willing to punish anyone that threatens life.
Yeah,
but is also actually willing to sacrifice herself. She literally gives her heart to Hugo if it actually meant him raising enough money to get to the promised land.
Yeah,
which again kind of goes along with that coming of age story. It's the naive part. She may be
of course naive. Alita is very naive, naivety, but she hasn't been awake for a long. And so walking to the bar, asking people to unite against a threat.
That was pretty funny.
It was, but I kind of felt bad because we all know human nature. We all know the human nature, and so she has to learn the hard way. But she doesn't let it stop her.
No, because it's that drive, it's that motivation, it's what was born to do. And then you have Shirin, who's
selfish,
who's selfish, who is willing to cut any ties that she has in order to get back to Zalem.
And she kind of... We already mentioned that she redeems herself, but what made it so redeemable is she kind of regains some femininity.
She actually regains humanity. Some humanity, yes. And that's the whole and that's kind of the whole point. Whether you want to focus on femininity or masculinity, they're all part of the same big category.
Humanity.
Yes, humanity. And that's kind of the thing. You can make a strong female character, and you can make even a strong male character, but if they don't have humanity, then you can't relate. You can't relate. That's the strong character is just completely taken out of the context.
Yeah.
It's taken out of the equation.
And no matter how awesome you make that person look, you cannot root for someone you're like, eh.
And that's where Alita comes in, is that yes, she's badass, but she loves life.
Now, I will say this: I have respect for the production crew who promoted this movie.
Oh,
very big respect. For one, they decided to go to I don't know where it was, but they gave a girl some new arms in the same design as Alita's Berserker.
You mean
Berserker arms?
I thought they gave her the ones with the roses on it.
No, Berserker arms.
Oh,
yeah, the Berserker arms.
That's much better, actually.
Yeah, yeah, they gave her the same design from the movie, the Berserker arms, and Tilly got to go on the red carpet, see the movie premiere, and that is just so heartwarming. You know, a girl getting new appendages.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and we can attribute that to the writing of James Cameron because he does write good female characters. True, his ego comes out during interviews. Like I think he slammed Wonder Woman a bit.
Yeah.
And okay, he makes good characters, but we don't hail him as like the god of these characters.
Yeah.
I think we can attribute that to Miyazaki actually.
Yes.
Which again, not opposed to Cameron writing one of his movies. I think he could probably do it very well.
Yeah.
But anyway, but like we said, it's that James Cameron manages to take care of the human elements.
No.
That's why I feel this movie has for it over Captain Marvel, which at the time of this recording I still haven't seen yet, but I will eventually.
Eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, buddy.
And alright, but either way, this whole controversy thing is just unnecessary. It actually kind of makes me just want to see Alita more than Captain Marvel.
Yeah, that's what the Alita challenge is for.
Mm. So, what is the Alita challenge?
Back a few weeks ago, before Captain Marvel aired, people were posting up that instead of going to see Captain Marvel, go see Alita.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it actually did pretty well. So most people were going there's a lot of good chunk of audiences going to see Alita again compared to Captain Marvel.
And quite frankly, it's not that I don't and honestly, I don't want Captain Marvel to bomb. Not because of something stupid like that. If it bombs, it should be because
A horrible movie.
It's a bad movie, not because of bad marketing.
Yeah.
Or just because two groups of people have major chips on their shoulders. This is not what we are about.
No.
We love movies. We love anime because we love stories.
Yeah, and honestly, part of the reason Alita Challenge exists is to give more money to it so it can have a sequel.
Oh yeah,
it needs to break even.
The epilogue to the movie kind of sets up a sequel, which I want to see because you have it's Alita being crowned as the champion of motorball. So now she is surrounded by a whole crowd, a stadium of people that are chanting her name, in a sense, worshiping her.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I know. But again, that was earned.
Yeah.
She's more focused on Zalem up
and
ahead
she has her blade.
Because that's where Nova is. She points it at him, and it sort of looks like Nova is looking down on her, witnessing that because he probably is, and that's when it's revealed that it's Edward Norton.
But yeah, in order to get a sequel, it has to get 400 million to 500.
And let's see, I think before Captain Marvel came out, what was it at?
360.
So it just needs 40 million more.
Yeah, though we're not sure if it's just 400 million. You need just to break even.
Okay,
but that's the end game.
That's the end game, and it's not.
So it's not just to spite Captain Marvel. It's actually for a more better cause.
Yeah,
I want a sequel.
And if we can get a sequel to Alita, then maybe we can actually get more. We can probably get more movies that also have better writings of characters, of story, and also better adapted anime movies.
Exactly.
That's the end game. That's the cause.
And honestly, that's all I can give.
I know. I mean, okay. So how about a rating?
How a rating? But first, I want to ask. We've been praising this. I already gave one complaint. I only have one complaint. What did you have any gripes and complaints. Because I already told you, I felt like the pacing is a little janky because we got lots of ground to cover.
I guess maybe if I had one complaint, it was the length.
Yeah.
But really,
but
when I was watching it, I had plans. I had plans for with my family, and like during the last 30 minutes of the movie, I kept on getting texts like, "Where are you? Where are you? We're all waiting for you." I was like, "Let's hold on." And just when you think the movie's over, another scene starts. And I was like, "How much longer is this movie?" And
get on with it.
Get on with it. But yeah, I don't really have much of a complaint.
Then again, you're coming in with fresh eyes with no context with the source material.
That's true, yeah.
But on the other hand, I could notice the pacing was a bit of a fast pace.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not complaining. I was actually more happy to see what we got.
Yeah.
But if I had to give this a rating, what kind of rating do you want to use?
We'll do the classic Siskel and Ebert method, like stars and thumbs.
All right.
Okay. All right. Alita: Battle Angel is a really great film with a lot of emotional depth to these characters. And lots of great imagery that pretty much emulates what anime and the style of anime and manga. So yep. I would give it.
I'm giving it 4.5 stars.
I was actually thinking of giving it 4.5 stars too. So 4.5 stars out of 5.
Yep.
In our opinion, 2 thumbs up.
Yes.
2 thumbs way up. We really do hope this movie gets a sequel. And we really do hope that there would actually be more movies with characters written like this.
Yes.
All right, and with that we conclude the first ever live-action anime review movie, otherwise known as Star Reviews. We're finally making use of that name.
Oh, I know. That name's been
kicked around a lot since the very beginning.
Yeah,
I know. So until then, we will see you next time.